So I'm thinking about buying or building a shop on my behind my house here in town. And one of the things I needed to do in order to get a building permit is I needed to get the lot survey to verify the corner pins. Now I'm in the construction industry and forestry industry, and I do pin verification all the time. The last time I did it was 10 years ago for a private land logging job. And the surveyor I hired was an older fella, and he charged me $150. It took him less than an hour, probably about 20 minutes. Okay, so the way you locate confirm corner pins traditionally is you have a property map, which every landowner has. A survey map comes with the deed. And if you didn't get it, you can go to the regional district office or what have you, whatever jurisdiction, and it will be on file somewhere, the original survey map. Okay. Um, and then you find the reference pin, usually with a metal detector, and then you find the first corner pin. You confirm the bearing. That confirms that it's the corner pin, and then you shoot the bearing based on your survey map, and you walk that bearing until you are approximate distance that the survey map says. Then you use the metal detector. You find the other corner pin, undig it, confirm that's the next corner, and then you look at your survey map. It'll tell you bearing to the next pin, so on and so forth. Now in town, it's super, super simple because every single property line is north, east, south, or west, unless there's a noted variation. Okay, so it's literally 0 degrees, literally 180, literally 360, whatever, 270, 90. So this is a 10, 20-minute job with a compass and a metal detector. You don't even need to hire a surveyor to do it if you know to use a compass and a metal detector. All right, but I'm not allowed to do it myself, or they won't issue a building permit. So there was the older man I used to use passed away in his 80s. There was a surveying slash engineering company that's noteworthy that was advertising that they're in the valley, and they were looking to book property pin location jobs. And I called them up, and they quoted me $1,500. $1,500 for a 20-minute job. Now, how do they justify charging this? Well, they are a survey engineering company. Surveying isn't engineering, okay? But this is what companies are doing now, right? If they say it's engineering, they can justify charging engineering prices. For whatever reason, we're letting them get away with it. The government isn't calling them out and saying, you're not doing engineering. This isn't engineering. Surveying is not engineering. All right. Then what they do is they show up with a $50,000 or $100,000 laser prism GPS geostation device equipment, and they do the location using that. And then they can say, oh, well, look at all of this high-tech gear. Right? That's why you're paying $1,500. The reality is that the yearly salary for one surveyor is $50,000 to $100,000, and their equipment is already 5 years old, right? So they don't actually have an economic justification to charge $1,500 for 20 minutes of work. Let's talk about this, right? inflation inducing technology, right? We for the last 150, 200 years, we've been operating on this economic assumption that technology equals deflation, that technology lowers the cost of production. And I think Peter Thiel is very right to note that this stopped being the case since the 70s. Okay? Back to the airliner, right? The Boeing 707 first flew commercially in 1958. The Boeing 747 first flew commercially in 1970. The Boeing 787 is not better than those airplanes. It's quieter, it uses less fuel. It's theoretically safer. But I mean, even in the 60s and 70s, the likelihood of dying in an airplane crash was 1 in 5 million or whatever it was, right? Lottery odds. And now it's 1 in 20 million. But this isn't a factor for wealth creation. Okay. And if we're honest, this is what we realize has happened. Our universities have produced an incredible number of engineers. But the vast, vast, vast majority of engineers are not innovating. They're actually regulating and overbilling. And every single company has gotten in on the grift. They've learned that, surveying is a trade. It's a trade that takes 1 year to learn how to do. But if you say you're engineering, you can invoice and dare people not to pay. And if the government passes a law saying you must use a surveying company to locate property pins, it's a blank check. This is why we now have inflation-inducing technology. The vast majority of new technology is being used to make things more expensive. My washing machine is a smart washing machine only because I couldn't buy a dumb washing machine. But the reality is that the washing machine has not gotten better in any tangible way in decades. And being able to turn it on with my smartphone, come on, let's get real. Right? Maybe the oven, that's a useful feature, right? If you prepare a casserole during your lunchtime and then you leave it in the oven and turn it on 4 hours later, but how many people are actually that organized? like I feel like most households that are cooking casseroles, there's a stay-at-home parent involved, right? It's all just an upsell. Technology has become an excuse to upsell with no actual value attached to that upsell. And that is why my generation is paying $500,000 for a Sears kit home that my grandpa assembled in the 1950s. Thanks for listening.